Welcome to the Her Story Circle podcast, the podcast that brings you the extraordinary tales of everyday women who are changing the world. I'm your host, Gertrude Mache, and I'd like to acknowledge traditional custodians of the land on which we meet today. I also like to pay my respects to elders, past, present, and emerging. Every week, we dive into the lives, challenges, and triumphs of women from all four corners of the globe. We're here to inspire, enlighten, and connect, sharing stories that uplift and empower. So grab a cup of coffee, settle in, and join us as we explore the incredible journeys of women shaping our future. This is Her Story, where every woman's voice matters. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Her Story TV and the Her Story podcast. This is Gertrude Mache here in beautiful Melbourne, Australia. And today I am graced with the presence of yet another fascinating woman. Welcome, welcome, welcome to our tribe. Please tell everybody your full name, where you're based, how old you are, and share your story with us today.
Hello, my name is Tammy Van Wisse. I'm based in Melbourne and I'm 55 years old. And I remember almost a year to the day, it was the 7th of November, 2022, when my life totally changed. I remember I was in the shower and I discovered a lump in my breast. And I wasn't too concerned to start with. I thought, perhaps it's just a little bit of a change. And I decided, though, to go to the doctor and get it checked out because I'd actually been to a conference myself and heard a guest speaker talk about breast cancer. And she'd been through breast cancer at a very, very young age and had told us all to do the importance of doing self-checks. So I went to my GP and she looked quite concerned and immediately got me in touch with a breast surgeon specialist. And it started a whirlwind of biopsies and tests. And within a week, the information came back that I had stage 2 breast cancer and that I would require mastectomy. And the options just kept flying thick and fast. It was just like having your world turned upside down and being in a twilight zone, so to speak. And I had to make some pretty big life-changing decisions in a very short period of time. Life-changing decisions, life-threatening decisions. I decided to have a double mastectomy, and so I was booked in. Within 2 weeks of the initial discovery, I was booked in for my surgery. Went through the surgery, went well, but in the days following, developed an infection, which saw me stay in hospital for an extra 3 weeks. And 3 more operations followed. Finally, I was released from hospital, and it was actually only a couple of days before Christmas last year. And I remember again coming out and just feeling so lost, just going through this huge, overwhelming experience and coming home to my family. And then within a period of a few weeks, getting myself ready to commence chemotherapy treatment and radiation treatment. And again, such a huge, overwhelming feeling. Well, luckily for me, I found my strength in being able to draw upon my past challenges. I've tackled many big challenges and a lot of adversity in the past through being a marathon swimmer. Across the English Channel a couple of times, swum across Bass Strait, the only person silly enough to swim across Bass Strait from Tasmania to Victoria. That was 97.4 kilometres in just under 18 hours, non-stop swimming. We also swam the length of the Murray River from where it starts up in Corryong, man from snowy river country, to right where it finishes and flows into the Southern Ocean. 2,438 kilometres worth of swimming over a period of 106 days, 3.5 months, no days off, on average 6 to 8 hours a day of swimming. roughly 30 to 40 kilometres each day. And that takes a lot of mental toughness to be able to get in day after day after day when you're tired, when you're aching, when all of your being is just so depleted that you can't even think about getting in and doing it all over again. It's all about the mindset, though. And one of my specialties is being able to break things down into very small components. That's sort of like my secret to big challenges, is breaking things down in very, very small chunks. And so I would actually think about swimming just for 30 minutes, and then I would stop, tread water, and I'd have a support crew in boats beside me, and they would pass me some sustenance and I'd get going again. And I just think about, okay, it's only another 30 minutes that you have to swim. Just another 30 minutes. Swim for 30 minutes, one stroke at a time. Get to the end of my 30-minute time frame. Have a little banter with my crew. They give me a cup of tea and maybe a banana, some nice things, some jelly beans, and then I'd head off again. Another 30 minutes. And it was that kind of thinking that actually helped me get through my chemotherapy and my radiation. Chemotherapy was very overwhelming, having literally poison pumped into your veins to try and kill a demon lurking inside you. Just the thought of it, it's quite scary. And I don't mind telling you that I was really scared, the toughest challenge of my life by a country mile. But as I went in there, I always tried to keep a positive mindset. And I believed that it was, when I went in for the chemotherapy, in my mind, I was thinking, this is actually liquid gold. It's actually helping me, and it's going to kill the nasty beast inside me. And afterwards, I'd get a bit sick, but again, I'd just try and tackle small things. So if I could get out of bed and have a shower, that was the small win for the day. If that was all I could do because I was feeling unwell, so be it. Some days I was able to sit outside in the sunshine, another big win. Some days I was actually able to go for a walk around the block, another big win for me. Those little things, they add up, and you've got to really take those small celebrations and just say, I'm making progress. Small progress is so important, and that's how we build our resilience. And then it came to doing the radiation, and I was in the same boat. I had to complete radiation 5 days a week for a period of 6 weeks. And you have to lay very still in the machine, hold your breath for 30 seconds while the beams do their work. And I remember, again, I would just take my breath and focus on a song, and again, just break it down into small pieces. Probably one of the hardest things for me, believe it or not, was when my hair started to fall out during chemotherapy. Funny how we get attached to our hair. And it was after actually I'd have the first session, and 2 weeks after I'd had my first chemo treatment, I woke up and I still remember just like seeing clumps of my hair on the pillow. And as I gently touch it, I'd just pull out another big chunk of hair, and I just fell to pieces. I just bawled and bawled. And I was probably like that for a day or so. And then I remember thinking, right, I need to do something to get control back again. So I actually asked my daughter to get the clippers, and I said, that's it, we're going to shave it off. We're going to take back control. So I sat there and she, shaved off all the hair, and I was bald as a badger. But it was funny how much power and strength that gave me to feel like, okay, all right, I haven't got my hair, but you know what? Now I'm the one making the decisions. And then I started to think about all the positive things that came with having a bald head, because I'd never had a bald head before. And I was actually trying to get back in the water and do a little bit of swimming while I went through chemotherapy, even if it was just to swim, 1 kilometre, 2 kilometres. That was still a good thing for me during treatment. And I didn't have to wear a swim cap for the first time. I was so streamlined, no hair. I saved so much money on shampoo and conditioner. I can't even begin to tell you. No bad hair days. Get up in the morning, don't have to worry about getting the straightener out or getting the blow dryer out. Saved myself so much time and effort. So I'm a person that always likes to look for the sunny side. And I think that a lot of the problems that we go through, we can always reframe them and we can look for the opportunity in the problem. So while some people might think that going through cancer has been, lay blame elsewhere and go, woe is me, I've looked at my journey and taken lessons from it and become stronger and actually gotten a new lease on life. I'm now looking at things in a totally different light, and I'm getting my zest back. I'm slowly getting my health back. And also, I have got this lovely set of curls, which you can probably see here. Now, you might not believe me, but I actually had relatively straight hair prior to chemotherapy, and it was actually quite light. In fact, I had blonde highlights put through it, but it was a very light, sort of a brown color. And now, look at me. I've got all these beautiful curls. I don't know how long they're going to last, but but I certainly take them as a win. So future for me at the moment, I'm actually thinking about possibly doing another swim. It might not be as big as what I've done in the past. Some of my marathon swims have been fairly large, but I am definitely looking at doing another swim and building my health back up again. And I would really like to give back in some way. I'd like to raise money for breast cancer, because I really do think that 1 in 7 women get diagnosed with breast cancer. So my message to all of you today is make sure you do self-checks, get mammograms done regularly, and also do a self-check once a week in the shower, because early prevention is the best ever. I was very lucky. Mine was caught early. So in terms of my long-term prognosis, I'm now on the recovery phase. I finished all my treatments 6 months ago. So I'm now starting to rebuild my health, my life, my fitness, and set myself some new goals. And I think the world is full of possibilities. And that's something that we cannot take for granted. You know, in all of the ups and the downs and the adversity that life throws at all of us, one of the most important things that we can do is choose how we respond to it. It really is a decision that we can make, and it really is all about the kind of mindset that we implement. We can choose to look for the negatives, and we can choose to lay blame, or we can choose to say, how can I look for the opportunity in this? And how can I help other people? And so that's my goal. I would like to help other women going through breast cancer. So starting today, I'm spreading this message that please, please, please do the checks, because it's so important. And if one person gets an early detection out of this, then this interview has been worth it. So for me, it's all about spreading that message, and it's all about spreading positivity. And again, I feel so blessed in my life to have had the adventures that I've had, and to have met the people that I've met along the way, who have positively impacted me and been in my tribe, I guess you could call it, and supported me through not only all my swims. I've had a wonderful support crew, people always. You cannot swim a marathon. You cannot go on any journey in life on your own. You always need a good tribe of people around you, family, friends, mentors. And I've been fortunate enough to have the amazing Olympic swimming legend, Dawn Fraser, as one of my mentors. And in fact, she's been on my boat for many of my swims, and I have gained so much strength and courage from her and learned so many amazing lessons. And I think life really is about paying it forward. It's so nice to be able to gain skills from other people and then to be able to pass those on to somebody else. So I've been very lucky there. And again, during my cancer treatment, I had a fabulous tribe of people support me. From being at, chemotherapy, where there's volunteers that come and give you a cup of tea, to having friends drop off food for me, to offer to take my daughter to school. So many incredible people out there, and it makes you feel just so truly blessed to have so many wonderful people in your life. So for me, I've been super fortunate there. And as I said, in my swims, I've had these incredible people that have supported me on many, many occasions. So it's, I have had a fabulous run in things. So the future for me, so I would like to do another swim, and I've been exploring a few opportunities, but for the minute, I'm just taking it one step at a time, one stroke at a time, as I like to say, because I really do believe that when we face the greatest adversity, the best thing to do is to break it down into very, very small pieces. That is how we get through some of the biggest challenges of our life, is literally, I think, one stroke at a time. And for me, there have been many points in my swims when I've felt like I just can't go on any further. And the waves have turned, the conditions have turned, and the waves are hammering me, and I'm thinking, across Bass Strait, I can't keep going. Break it down. Come on, Tammy, just start doing one more stroke. Count your strokes, count to 20. And it's incredible how you can turn around. You can feel like you've got nothing left in the tank and you're ready to give up. And within a few minutes, that mindset has turned again, and you can do incredible things. We have so much more strength inside us than we would ever imagine.
Wow. Tammy, I don't have the words. Your story is absolutely inspiring. You faced and overcome significant challenges, not only in your swimming career, in your health journey. Can you share where that resilience and strength actually comes from? Was there something that had happened to you in the past where you built resilience? What is your philosophy about overcoming obstacles?
So that's a fabulous question. I think I can't really pinpoint a time when I guess that it happened. And I think building resilience happens over a period of time where you have a lot of small wins, and then those small wins build. And then when you have your setbacks and your losses, I think, because you've started to compound the wins, and that it's really about confidence. And when I started out, to be honest with you, I never actually thought that I would be involved in sport. As a young girl growing up, I was the kid that didn't fit in at school. I was the one that was uncoordinated, the one that was overweight. Actually, I was voted the one least likely to succeed in sport. Oh, I kid you not, I got that award. Oh, and so I left school with virtually, primary school with virtually no self-confidence. I was, I wouldn't certainly stand in front of a group of people and speak. I'd be the kid hiding in the background, believing that I had nothing to contribute and that my worth, was very low. My self-esteem was very low. My parents actually put me into swimming for safety more than anything else. And as it turned out, that was a bit of a life-changing experience for me, because I actually discovered a talent, and I got invited to join the squad. And that helped me slowly build my self-esteem. But in some regards, I still sort of had that lack of confidence, because in the squad, everybody was really fast, and I was the person that could keep going and going and going, but I just didn't have the same speed as everyone else. And I was actually ready to give up in my swimming, but I, just as fate would have it, I saw an entry form for a marathon swim, and I thought, let's have a go. And I did, and I entered it, and obviously because I had a natural talent for endurance, I finished the event and thought, wow, this is fabulous. I'd found what I wanted to do, and I really realized how resilient I was in my mind and how I could, toughen it out.
I love that. So you're a master at setting and achieving long-term goals. Can you share your approach to goal setting and how you've committed to those goals? I know you've said, one step at a time. There's got to be more to it than that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Look, it's a process. Obviously, first of all, you've got to have the passion. I really do believe when you set your goals, you've got to have something that emotionally connects you to that goal. Because when you talk about motivation, people that, that motivation just doesn't appear. There's no motivation fairy that sprinkles the dust and all of a sudden, wow, we're ready to do something. It just doesn't happen. So in those moments, once you've set the goal, you've got to have something that connects you to that goal, that moves you emotionally, the feeling. Why are you doing it? And that can be so personal. You don't have to share that with anyone, but it's just got to be something that when you're at a point where you don't feel like keeping on going, you've got to be able to tap into that emotion, because that's what's going to get you across the line and get you going in. So first of all, you're setting your big goal, and so you've got to have that why. Then I guess you've got to have your planning. And for me, when so after I set a goal, I break it all down, do the planning stages, look at what I actually have to commit to doing to be able to achieve that goal. So you've got to set up your habits. And again,
Okay.
this is where your why comes in. So I guess you're toggling from big picture to setting your planning, to setting your small goals, your middle-sized goals, and then it becomes the smaller ones underneath that again, in terms of once you get your timetable in order and commit yourself to a time frame. Because I do believe that you need that, and you also need accountability. And so for me, I train with a squad. I have a coach, and whenever I take a challenge or a goal, I know that having people around me, that even if I'm just talking to them and they're ringing me and saying, how are you going on this goal, whether it's a mentor, whether it's a group of people that you're meeting with, like, say you're tackling a marathon, you want to run a marathon, you join a group, it just makes it that much easier because we can achieve things when we're with a group. And I think that really solidifies goals. So,
and having those accountability partners, that's a really good motivator because you're all aiming for the same thing. You keep each other energized and motivated, correct?
Oh, it's fabulous. Honestly, I've had so many accountability partners over the years. Best friends that I, stay with you forever because you're going through something together. You're sharing a goal, you're sharing a dream as well. You might have different motivations for getting there, but you're going through the suffering. And I think that brings you to another point, is that there is, you can't achieve anything without expecting that there's going to be pain along the way. Because we have to sacrifice for any big goal. You have to be prepared to sacrifice. And I think that a lot of people think that, getting from point A to point B is, like a straight line, not gonna, bang, gonna be done. It takes a lot of time and a lot of effort, a lot of practice to be good at anything. And I certainly didn't learn to swim a marathon, like in 20 days or 30 days. It's taken years and years and years of practice for me to, get my mind right, get the body right, get the nutrition right, learn the balance. Also in life, about how to get the balance, because if my mind's not right, then my body isn't going to perform. So it's a matter of, knowing when to also have time to rest and recover, and to have things outside of, the goal that you're trying to achieve. So it's very, very important to find a balance in life as well. So there's all those factors that come into play, but definitely you need to be prepared to sacrifice. I think a lot of people don't realize, because it's never a straight line. When I swim, it's never a straight line. You always end up zigzagging. There's ups and downs and setbacks. And sometimes you go a bit, sometimes you're swimming against the tide and you get pushed back a little bit, but you can't lose faith. And this is the thing, is if you've got that emotional commitment to your goal, that's when you tap into that, and you have to look at your why and go, okay, this is the reason I'm doing it. How badly do I want this? And keep yourself in the present moment as well. I think a lot of people try and think too far ahead about things, and I'm very much about small steps and staying in the present moment. What do I need to do now? When things are really bad, what do I need to do right now?
Your swim, the 2,438 kilometer swim down the Murray River, was not just a sporting feat, but also an act of environmental awareness, correct? How do you combine your athletic pursuits with advocacy for important issues?
So that all began when I started traveling around the world to swim in different races, marathon swimming races. I jumped into some waterways that were quite polluted. And as a marathon swimmer, you're literally immersed in the issues, because, you're in for a period of, say, 8, 10, 12 plus hours, and you can't help but ingest some of the water. You're a bit like a litmus tester for the water, because you're tasting it. It's, you're getting it in your ears, eyes, and you can smell it. So I ended up being quite sick a number of times. Particularly, I did a race one year around Manhattan Island in New York. And I remember the race organizer telling us that we'd actually be swimming past a sewage plant, and that we had to take a big wide berth around the sewage plant, because they were worried that it was going to suck us in, which is a crazy thing to say. But But I was actually at this particular time, Dawn Fraser was over as my mentor. She was on board my boat, and at this particular race meeting, and she kind of looked at me and said, sewage plants don't suck things in; they actually spit them out. So she said, just keep your mouth closed. I'll tell you when. So we got to this particular point in the race, and I actually ended up winning the race that year. But within a few hours of me finishing, I had really bad gastro, and we actually had to call a doctor in so that I could fly back to Australia. So things like that, you think that's happening overseas, and I wanted to do something in my own backyard. And knowing how important the Murray River is to all Australians, it's our food bowl. It's important. So it's important from an agricultural perspective. It's important to sustain us. It's important. It sustains lots of wetlands and many different species of plants and animals. So from so many different angles, the Murray River is important. So I wanted to use my swim to highlight the importance of clean water and also of us looking after it in our own backyard. So it became my mission to do that and to use the physicality of the swim to draw attention to it and to be able to talk about it in my interviews. And it was wonderful because we had kids from all around the world following as I swam down the Murray, and they were learning about the different parts of the river. And I was talking about what I was tasting, what I was smelling, what I was seeing along the way. So it really did shine a great spotlight on the river. And it was so good to do. Really just made me so passionate about looking after our waterways. And it was fantastic.
Now, let's talk a little bit about dealing with procrastination. Procrastination is a common challenge. How do you tackle it, especially when facing daunting tasks?
Absolutely. This is, again, where, one of my, secret sauce recipes is breaking things down into really small pieces. I think when you're facing something that is so big that you can't do it, for instance, I'll use the Murray River as an example. If I had thought, when I jumped into the river every day, if I'd thought about how many kilometres I had to go, like if I went, I've got 2,400 kilometres still ahead of me, I would never have been able to start swimming. And this was something I actually thought quite deeply about before I actually did the swim, because I was concerned that I might not have the motivation to get in. And I was worried that once I got tired, that might be something, procrastinating, sitting on the river, just going, no, I can't do this. So literally, I didn't think about the big figure I had. I was literally just thinking, I'm going to get in the river today and I'm going to swim for the next half hour. So when you have a task to do that's so big that it's overwhelming to you, that you're feeling like you just, you're paralyzed and frozen by it, think of the smallest thing that you can do, the easiest thing to do, because we trick the brain. And if the brain thinks it's something that it can do, then it'll do it. And once you start that momentum, you can go on to the next thing and the next thing. So it is really about those teeny, tiny micro goals that can get you going, that can get you moving, and it builds the momentum. And quite literally, it's amazing what you can do, piling one small goal on top of the other.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes that tricking of the brain, once you're out there, you're jogging, you're running, you're swimming, you get energy to do more. It's
absolutely. It gives you confidence. That's the thing, is you're building, that's what you're building, is the confidence to keep going. You're getting a little tiny win. Oh, I've done that. I didn't think I could do that, but now I'm doing this, and now I'm here. So again, you're moving yourself, in my case, a little bit further down the river. And it's a kilometre at a time, and every kilometre adds up, and you think, oh wow, I've done that. Okay, I didn't think I'd do that. Look at me go. Look at me. So, you start in your mind, it changes that whole negative perspective around procrastination, like I can't do this, I'm overwhelmed, there's no way, I'm not capable of doing this, to, oh, maybe I can do this. I'll try this.
I love that.
Step at a time. Yeah. One step at a time.
Absolutely love that. Now, in your presentations, like Go the Distance and Sink or Swim, what are the key takeaways you hope your audience will learn?
I talk to my audience about breaking things down into very small goals. That's one of the big key takeaways for me, is breaking big goals into small. Success is all about small steps, breaking down the process, breaking down the mindset. That's the other thing that I like to take away, is that we can look at a negative situation and there's always a positive aspect to it. It all depends on how we reframe it up here. This is the most important section. The distance between me swimming a marathon and somebody else achieving a goal is exactly the same, and it's literally this far. It's the distance between the years. This is such important real estate up here. And if we learn to be able to control it and to understand how the mind operates, particularly I think in fight or flight as well, because we get very overwhelmed by a lot of things these days. And I think after COVID, that's a normal situation too, that we tend to procrastinate and we tend to, I guess, suffer panic and worry. And a lot of us have self-doubt. I have a lot of self-doubt still. It's not something that goes away. And I want to tell people that I still suffer self-doubt every day. And it's something that you just have to work on. It's about, again, going back and saying, okay, I know I hear your little negative voice, but I'm not going to sit in that space because I've done X, Y, Z, and I'm going to set myself a little goal today, and I'm going to get going. And I'm going to defeat, that negative aspect in my head. So I think that's really what it's all about.
That's important. So having a day named after you in New Jersey is a significant honor. Can you tell us about this recognition and how it felt to receive such an accolade?
Look, I honestly, I'm so humbled by it. I never, ever thought that I'd, again, have anything like that, a day named after me. I didn't even think going back, I never thought I'd even swim the English Channel and do all the things that I've done. But the swim came about. I swam from New York to New Jersey, and I did this particular swim was actually, and it was an 80-year-old record that I was going over to try and conquer. But that wasn't my main motivation. The swim was actually first done by a woman by the name of Gertrude Ederle. She has the same wonderful name. Yeah. And she was the first woman to ever swim the English Channel. And it was groundbreaking for women in sport. Like, she got a ticker tape parade down, the streets of New York. Thousands came out. Nobody thought a woman could swim the Channel. Now, not only did she swim the English Channel, but she actually broke the men's record by 2 hours. She set this benchmark for women. And after her swim, thousands of women signed up to learn how to swim. And she was just an incredible advocate for women in sport. So I actually wanted to do it to highlight her contribution to women in sport. And it was her record that I was trying to break. Unfortunately, Gertrude had passed away a number of years before I did the swim, but I connected with all of their family, and I had a dinner with them, and they were on my support boat. And so it was such a special moment to be, supported by them. And then when I finished, the mayor of Monmouth County in New Jersey actually came up to me, and she had a certificate, and she said, I proclaim from this day forward that July 21st is now going to be known as Tammy Van Wisse Day. And, all the kids in the schools are going to learn about your achievements. So it really, like I said, I'm so humbled to even think that I have something like that. So, but it was a very special, doing the swim was very special for me, just because I had the blessing of Gertrude's family, and to be able to, honor her in that way was something very special. And I feel very privileged to have been able to do that.
That is just beautiful. So tell me, what lies in the future for you, Tammy? I'm going to have a little thought experiment with you as my last question. Let's teleport you to go and meet the 90-year-old you. You are sitting on your porch in your rocking chair, surrounded by your children, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren, and just reflecting back on your life. If I could take you to that moment to meet this wise woman who's led you to that point, based on how you're living your life right now, what would you say to her if you could meet her today?
Oh gosh, I would guess I would say to her, how she has really lived her life and followed every opportunity and touched so many people. I would hope that she's changed many lives, and that perhaps she's contributed a lot to the community in terms of being able to help women understand how important it is for them to participate in sports, and also to understand how important it is to look after your health and to do health checks. And I would hope that she's also been a really strong advocate for young women who don't believe in themselves, for them to get that ability to say, hey, do you know what? I am good enough to have a go. That's what I would hope.
I love to ask that question because a lot of women forget that the wise woman is already in them.
Yes.
She's already here guiding us, those little whispers that come in the middle of the night, telling you to go left, go right, take this challenge, take that challenge. She's already with us. So
that's my pleasure. No, I love that question, actually, because it really does resonate, like I said, because I'm really at this point in my life, again, like I said, after what I've now just, been through myself, is that I really want to put back in, and I want to be able to help other women again. And it's given me that focus. So this question has been fantastic to, just actually resonate with. That's the track that I want to follow.
Oh, I love it. Thank you, Tammy. And thank you to everybody who's tuned in today. The Her Story Circle is bringing us an amazing wealth of knowledge, stories, skills from women from all over the world. Our vision and our aim is to uplift, inspire, and energize you through the power of storytelling. So tune in again tomorrow when I interview yet another amazing person. And in the meantime, have a fantastic day, morning, or evening, wherever you are in the world. And bye for now. Thank you, Tammy.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning into the Her Story Circle podcast. I hope today's story has inspired you to believe in the power of our stories and the difference you can make in the world when you use your voice. I'm Gertrude Mache, and it's been an honor to share this space with you, where voices from all walks of life come together to weave a rich tapestry of diverse perspectives. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review our podcast to help us share these stories with more listeners. Follow us on social media by looking for the Her Story Circle podcast for more updates. And join us tomorrow for another episode filled with courage, resilience, and empowerment. Remember, your story matters, and together we're building a stronger, more inclusive world. Until next time, keep making her story.